Morning. Good morning. Just before we start, just to let you know that we are recording, so it would be ideal if all cameras were off, please, with the participants, so that when we post it on YouTube, you don't become a new media star. That would be fantastic. I'm Helen Harris. I'm the head at Harlington. This is Sarah Howard. She's the deputy head pastoral, and we're here this morning just to talk to you a little bit about the process that we're going to go through when the students return to school next week in order to get the testing done. So the format this morning will just be a conversation. So I will give you some information about what's going to happen. And then you might notice from this lovely white brick wall behind us that we're not in an office. We are actually currently in the sports hall, and we will turn the camera around and walk you through what the students will see and do when they come in during the testing process. So first of all, thank you for joining us. It's a big job to test 1,200 children 3 times over the next 7 days, which is what we have in front of us. So it has taken a lot of logistical organisation, and it isn't going to be perfect. And I think it's important to say that from the outset, that there are challenges with this, and it is going to be a difficult week. So I know you will maybe have seen from other schools or from the media that some schools have started testing students in advance. Obviously, our rationale for doing it the way we're doing it is that the vast majority of our students actually come to school via bus, and therefore bringing them in individually would not be practical. Therefore, what's going to happen is we're going to start Monday and Tuesday early. So the school day will start at 8 o'clock on Monday and Tuesday. On Monday, we'll have years 11, 12 and 13 arriving into school. They will be immediately taken to their form rooms, where they will be sat as far apart as we can possibly manage, facing the front with their masks on, in essentially isolation as far as possible until we can get them down for their first test. That is going to mean, in reality, that the students who are tested latest in the day are going to have a pretty long day of sitting in their form room without too much flexibility. It does mean that it gives the form tutors an excellent opportunity to deliver wellbeing activities and to give all the key information to students so that they are ready to get back. But I'm not going to pretend that it's going to be a fun day for students. It isn't. It's going to be quite a challenging day for students, but there is literally no way around it. So we are going to be relying very much on them understanding that and doing their best to help us out and see the day through. So what will happen is, in form group slots, the students will be brought down, again, as socially distanced as we can keep them, in masks facing the front. They will be brought down to the sports hall. And when they get to the sports hall, there will be staff all over the building to help them. And when they get to the sports hall, they will work through the testing. Good morning, Rachel. Could I just ask you to turn your camera off so that when we pop it on YouTube, you're not there? Lovely, thank you. You're still there, but okay, as long as you're happy to be on YouTube. And so when we get to the sports hall, they will register. If you go to a regular test site to register for a test, there are various forms that you fill in. Obviously, we've done all of that for the students. So they simply come, they give their name, we check that we have your parental consent or their consent if they're sixth formers, and then we work them through the process. We will show you in very shortly what that looks like. But before we do so, if anyone has any questions about the parameters of the day that you want to ask now, then please do feel free before we do our little walkthrough, and then obviously there'll be an opportunity to ask questions afterwards. Anyone want to put anything in the chat? No? Okay, so I'm going to use Sarah as the guinea pig here. She's going to pretend to be a student, and we're going to try to show you what the process will look like. Okay, wait a minute. There we go.
There we are.
The student will arrive.
We'll go to the registration desk. We'll register with the member of staff or parent volunteer.
Holding it because I can't see what they can see.
Thank you. So the students will register and they will then be allocated a bay. So they will be given a ticket and they will walk along here. They'll all be very socially distanced. They will be wearing their face masks. And there are 10 bays that they can go to. I'll just go to the first one that they will go around here.
Sorry, just need to fix something technically.
So they'll come around here to one of the bays. I will just show you what the bays look like.
So the staff will be here. The member of staff will be giving directions as to what they do. They will be in PPE with gloves and screens and masks. As you can see, there's more than a 2-meter gap between the member of staff and the student, and they will have a kit on the table there, which they will do. Under no circumstances will any member of staff support or help physically. The students are expected to do the testing themselves. So it involves opening up a swab, rubbing it around their tonsils, rubbing it around one nostril and putting it back in the pot. And that is it. It takes literally a minute.
And so once the students have completed the test, they will walk out of the zone and they will make their way out of the sports hall. It will all be on a one-way system and there will be lots of staff around to guide and help them. I will just show you logistically what the sports hall is looking like at the moment. You can see a complete change, I hope, there. So really that's it. The whole process should be fairly straightforward and fairly quick. They'll then go back up to their form rooms on the Monday or the Tuesday and they will continue with their form group activities.
Thank you, Sarah. And once the students have done their test and their form has all been tested and the half hour that it takes to process the tests has passed, at that point they will obviously be allowed to go outside and have a break and have a run around and have a chat to their friends. So our aim is to do it as quickly as possible. We have 10 booths, which means we can get through 10 students approximately every 5 minutes. So that's the plan, and we're anticipating things speeding up as we go along. So I know that's a little bit of a strange way to present a forum, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea of what it will feel like and look like for the students. But please feel free to ask questions. Happy to ask any questions, answer any questions that you might have.
Good morning, Simon. If you wouldn't mind just either switching off your camera or be prepared to be on YouTube. It's up to you, but it will be posted on YouTube.
Nobody has any questions?
So just to give you a little bit more information.
Yes, so what's going to happen is on Monday and Tuesday is the first test. So 11, 12 and 13 on the Monday and 9 and 10, years 9 and 10 on the Tuesday. They will be in form rooms and they will have a test. On the Wednesday, everyone will go back to regular lessons and it will be school as usual. Then on the Thursday, again, everyone will be back in lessons and it will be, as far as we can make it, school as usual. However, each child will be given a time slot where they will leave their lesson and come down for their second test. And then that will be repeated the following Monday and Tuesday with the third test. So that's the way it will happen. Yes, we are recording, yeah. No, consent has gone. We've done the consent as far as we know. We've called everyone who we haven't had consent from. If you're not sure if you've given consent, please go onto the same link because it's still open. We won't close it until the Monday morning.
at the same time, aren't
Yeah,
they?
so the end of the day is normal. It's the same as it was prior to Christmas, so not completely normal because it's obviously a staggered end. So depending on the year group, they will end from 2:40 onwards.
And the early days are only for the Monday and the Tuesday, and they need to be in, was it 8 o'clock, wasn't it?
The reason we need to start the testing at 8 o'clock on the Monday and Tuesday, because we need to give ourselves as much time as possible to get through, and the vast majority of the buses arrive before 8 o'clock, which means that we don't want the students standing around outside mingling, obviously, before we get the testing underway. So as soon as the buses arrive, we will get the students in and seated and as isolated as we can, and therefore we'll start the testing straight away. So if you're able to get your child in by 8, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, Wednesday will be a normal day, so it's only the Monday and Tuesday that they're in early. Wednesday, hopefully, we'll just be catching up on the students who were not in on Monday and Tuesday, but they should be a normal school day as far as possible on Wednesday.
Just in terms of the home testing, they haven't been delivered to us yet. As soon as they are delivered to us for the students, we will give them out and make sure that students have the tests to do at home. Yeah, they will receive them via the school, but not yet because they haven't been delivered yet. So as soon as they're delivered, we will give them out and the students will bring them home. In terms of the testing that's talked about in the news for families, that doesn't come through the school. So there will be more information sent to families about where you get your tests for testing parents and the wider family. So twice a week, the home test. The advantage of the school test in a way is that the students will understand what they have to do for the home test. So for anyone who hasn't done one already, and I think many of our students probably already have, but for anyone who hasn't done a test already, it will give them the knowledge of what they have to do at home.
Thank you, Rachel. Enjoy work.
So if you do have any further questions, then feel free to email in and someone will get back to you with a reply. Essentially, just to reiterate what I said before, it is not going to be fun for anybody, particularly the first 2 days, but we'll get through it and we'll get through it successfully and as safely as we possibly can. And then hopefully it will be very much business as usual from Wednesday onwards. Okay, so just wait another 30 seconds for any last minute questions. Okay, well, thank you for coming this morning.
Thank you very much.
I hope it was helpful, and we will post it later on via the bulletin to ensure that anyone who wasn't able to make it can have a look at the sports hall and see what we're going to do.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.